Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are moving way past the basic chatbot. We are going to rip apart the operational blueprint for what really is the next generation of customer service.
Agentic AI.
Exactly. And we're not just talking about tools that, suggest an answer for a human. We're talking about systems that can operate entirely on their own.
That's the key word, right? Autonomous.
Yeah.
Our focus today is on the architecture for truly autonomous service operations. So think of a system that can reason, plan, and execute these really complex multi-step actions.
And learn from its mistakes.
And learn from its failures, all while managing every single way a customer might try to reach you.
So our mission today is to unpack the actual strategic playbook. This is what major organizations are using. We're talking about a major U.S. bank, a huge Middle Eastern tech conglomerate to implement this kind of deep transformation.
And the sources call this a multi-channel agentic AI solution, or MAS for short.
Right.
And you really have to understand the core problem this MAS is built to solve because, we've all experienced it.
Oh, absolutely. The fragmented customer service nightmare.
It's a complete patchwork. Your email system, maybe it's a shared Outlook inbox, it has no real-time automation.
None.
Then you have your telephony platforms, the Ciscos, Avayas, Demovos of the world. They have very limited conversational intelligence.
And the big one, the case management systems, the Siebels or the Argus systems, they're just operating in total silos.
They don't talk to each other, not in any meaningful way.
And that fragmentation is just the enemy of good service. So the strategic shift here is, well, it's massive. This agentic AI isn't just a bot. It's an intelligent orchestrator.
That's a great way to put it. It's not just an LLM talking to you. It's a system designed to detect a problem, navigate all that fragmentation we just talked about, and then execute a resolution from end to end.
Without a human having to step in.
Ideally, yes.
Wait.
And the economic projections, they really validate the need for this. This is the crucial insight from the sources.
It changes the entire operational paradigm.
Completely. Projections suggest these systems could handle up to, 68% of all customer interactions.
68%.
And in an optimized setup, that could slash resolution times by 60 to 90%. That's not just optimization.
No, that's a total operational overhaul. So if that 60% autonomy is the goal, let's unpack what you actually need to get there. It seems to start with this multi-channel mandate.
The multi-channel challenge is, it's non-negotiable. To be successful, the solution has to act as one single cohesive thing.
Right.
It has to seamlessly handle inputs from every channel. That means voice calls, which requires really robust, low-latency speech-to-text and text-to-speech.
And real-time chat.
Which demands high-quality natural language.
Right.
Understanding NLU, so the system gets the context instantly. And then email, where it has to draft and send complete polished responses.
Okay, so when an organization actually pulls this off, when they merge those fragmented channels into this single MAS architecture, what are the benefits? The sources seem to break it down into the 4 strategic pillars.
Exactly. And these aren't just technical wins, they're business mandates. First up is, of course, the customer experience.
24/7 availability, consistent service.
And personalized. The promise is consistent service whether you email, chat, or call.
And second, and this is where the savings start to kick in, is operational efficiency.
Right, you get faster response times, and this is critical, a higher first contact resolution rate, FCR.
That's the golden metric, isn't it? Solving the problem on the first try.
It is. A high FCR means you can manage huge increases in volume without having to scale up your staffing proportionally.
And those first 2 pillars, they just flow directly into the third one, which is cost optimization.
Of course. High FCR and high speed means a significant ROI. You reduce your operational and staffing costs, which frees up your human agents to focus on the really complex stuff.
The things that need empathy or creativity.
Exactly. And finally, the 4th pillar, which is really the foundation for everything else, is data and system integration.
So if the AI is going to act on its own, it needs unified, real-time access to everything.
Your entire enterprise data backbone. And it needs that seamless integration with the ticketing systems we mentioned, like ServiceNow or Argus.
To make that all work, there must be some non-negotiable technical components.
Absolutely. For any global operation, multilingual support is essential. This usually means leveraging advanced models like those in, say, Google Dialogflow CX to make sure you get the understanding right across different languages.
And when you talk about real-time access and personalization, what does that mean technically? How does the system pull that data?
It means deep programmatic integration with your cloud databases, whether that's AWS or Azure. The agent can't just be smart. It has to be informed.
So it needs to know my customer history, my account status.
Right, and inventory data, anything it needs to make a decision based on your specific personalized context.
And I've got to think the absolute core requirement for true autonomy is the ticketing integration. Without that, it's just a fancy FAQ bot.
That's 100% right. The agent must have the authority to automatically open, update, and close tickets. If it can't take that final action, the whole FCR promise just breaks down.
And then there's the other stuff, the non-functional requirements.
Stability, scalability, maturity, and, of course, compliance. Things like GDPR have to be baked in from day one.
Okay, that brings us to, I think, the most fascinating part of this. The architecture. How do you actually build this? How do you go from a smart chatbot to a truly agentic system? It seems like it all pivots around this orchestration agent.
That's the perfect way to describe it. If you think of the large language model as the brain, it does the understanding, the reasoning, then the orchestration agent is the air traffic controller.
Or a master project manager.
Yes, it gets the initial request, it analyzes the complexity, and then it decides which specialized subagents it needs to call upon to solve the problem.
Okay, so let's walk through that. A request comes in, let's say a voice call through a Demovo system or an email from Outlook. It hits the user interaction layer first.
And then goes straight to the controller, the orchestrator.
Right. So what happens in the brain, the planning section?
Once the orchestrator has the command, it uses the AI reasoning and planning layer. This is where the LLM does its high-level decision-making. But critically, it's supported by specialized tools.
Like knowledge retrieval agents.
Exactly. And this almost always involves RAG, retrieval augmented generation.
Our RAG is an acronym we hear everywhere now, but for someone just focused on the strategic outcome, how does RAG actually enable the autonomy here?
RAG is essential because it stops the LLM from making things up, from hallucinating. Instead of just relying on its general training data, the RAG agent goes and pulls verified specific company data.
So internal manuals, knowledge bases.
Past case resolutions, all of it. And it uses that validated information to form the plan. It basically guarantees accuracy.
So the orchestrator uses the LLM to make a plan, uses RAG to get the facts straight, and then what? It needs the power to actually do something.
Exactly. That's the tools library. This is the action layer. This library integrates through APIs with all your external systems, your CRM for customer data, your ERP for product status, and those incident management systems for ticketing.
So that's where the autonomy is unlocked.
Yes. The agent can proactively query a database, detect an issue like a late shipment, analyze why it happened, and then resolve it by automatically opening and escalating a ticket.
That level of autonomy sounds, well, it sounds like there are high stakes. What kind of safeguards are built into this blueprint?
Safety is paramount. The framework mandates very robust safety and guardrails, which absolutely includes human-in-the-loop processes.
Meaning the system knows when to ask for help.
Precisely. For highly sensitive tasks, or if a case complexity goes over a certain threshold, the agent has to know when to escalate. The human agent becomes that final safety check before an autonomous action is taken.
That makes perfect sense. You can't just flip a switch and go to 100% autonomy overnight. So let's talk about the practical rollout, the implementation playbook.
They follow a mandatory, very structured, phased approach. You have to mitigate risk.
So what does that look like?
The roadmap in the sources has about 5 phases assessment, a market scan, proof of concept, and so on. Each phase is pretty quick, about 3 to 6 weeks.
And the key insight here seems to be starting small.
Start small, focus on defined, repeatable use cases. Things like lead qualification or a simple password reset. Those are great starting points.
And the deployment is staged, right? It moves from level 1, where the AI is just helping, up to level 3, where it's fully autonomous.
Exactly. They map that transition very carefully. Stage 1 always starts with email.
Level 1.
Right. It's the safest place to begin because email is asynchronous. The system has time to think, it can draft a response, and most importantly, a human agent can review that draft before it goes out.
So the risk is minimal while you're integrating the workflows?
Yep. Once they prove that stable, they move into real time.
Which is stage 2, chat.
Yes, level 2. Here, the AI starts managing entire sessions by itself. The NLU has to be flawless, but since it's not verbal, it's a bit easier than voice.
And then the final boss, the phone.
Stage 3, phone. Level 3. This is the culmination handling complex, nuanced calls independently. It requires superior voice intent detection and really high confidence automation.
So how do they measure success during this transition, especially in that proof of concept phase? How do they know if that 68% target is even viable?
They test it with real-world scenarios against KPIs like customer satisfaction, CST, and average handling time. The blueprint actually compares this to successful pilots, like one Hertz did for rental extensions.
And what did that show?
So they could resolve 60 to 80% of cases autonomously, right in the initial testing phase. That proves the model works before you spend millions industrializing it.
And the real-world results we've seen from other companies using these kinds of frameworks, they really back this up.
Oh, absolutely. We have solid examples that validate that 70% autonomy threshold, H&M's virtual assistant.
70% autonomous resolutions,
Bank of America's Erica Assistant reduced call center loads by 17%.
which is huge at their scale.
Massive. And for the multilingual piece we talked about, Singapore's Ask Janie agents cut overall call volumes by 50%.
So those results, they're not just interesting tech stories. They translate directly into a huge financial impact. Let's look at the financial projections from the sources for this specific implementation.
These are the numbers that get a project like this greenlit. The client projected annual cost savings of $1.1 to $1.5 million.
With a very fast payback period.
Incredibly fast, 6 to 12 months, and a massive return on investment. They're projecting 3 to 500% ROI over 3 years.
And that kind of return is all driven by optimizing that one metric, FCR, and speed.
It is. Their main goal is to dramatically improve their same-day resolution rates, which are currently only at 57%.
So achieving that 70% autonomous rate is the engine that generates that incredible ROI.
That's why the orchestration agent is the absolute center of this entire blueprint.
This has been a really compelling deep dive. We've laid out the blueprint for a multi-channel agentic AI solution, and we've seen that this radical transformation is actually achievable.
But only through careful, phased planning.
Right, where that orchestration agent acts as the master controller, uniting all those fragmented channels, email, chat, voice, into one intelligent system.
And that leaves us with, I think, a really provocative final thought. This whole framework is designed for continuous learning. The MAS is constantly iterating, constantly trying to improve its autonomy rate.
So what happens to the human agents? They're supposed to handle that remaining complex 30% of cases.
Right. They're the experts, the last line of defense.
But does their job change?
I think it has to. Their highest value contribution must fundamentally shift. They need to become the primary teachers, the supervisors, the quality control experts for the autonomous system itself.
So the best agent is no longer the best problem solver.
But maybe the best AI instructor. The one who ensures the system's knowledge and its decision-making stays robust, ethical, and accurate. And that strategic shift in your workforce is something you really should be considering as you look at your own roadmap.